Alright, it's time for a new welding cart for the little Lincoln here. You can see the problem. I'm slowly phasing out all my small bottles. This little cart right here cannot support a big bottle. It just tips right backwards. So it's time to design a new cart. Now, holding true to form, for this project I will not be buying any new metal. I'm going to be using drops or remnants from a bunch of recent jobs that I completed. I find it challenging and also satisfying to have a need for a project, turn over to the scrap bin, check what materials are available, and then try to come up with a cool design from there. Now, there are a couple of design features that I like to employ on my welding carts. First being a wider base than top. This not only provides stability, but if the machines are inset slightly, it prevents them from getting too beat up or scratched up as they wheel around the shop. Another feature I like is a slightly upward tilted machine front, enabling you to walk up and make adjustments to the machine without having to kneel down. I also like it when these machine platforms appear to be floating, meaning they're only attached at the rear. And last but most certainly not least, the cart has to be sleek. I've had carts in the past where you can store all kinds of stuff on them. Welding wire, consumables, anti-spatter, etc. And it really clutters them up. I've become a fan of a really sleek, stripped down design. And so those are some of the things that we're after on this project. Now I'll admit, on this project I ran into some big problems with my first coat of paint. I had all kinds of fisheye show up. But instead of panicking, I used a trick that I learned a long time ago from an old timer, using more paint. And I've almost completely eliminated any evidence that there ever was even a problem to begin with. That's a separate video. If you're interested in learning that technique, check it out. Alright, let's start with the basics. Perfect. It fits. I switched over from small bottles to all big bottles. Luckily my local weld shop gave me full credit on my smaller bottles, and they upgraded me to the big bottles. These are owner bottles. The way to tell an owner bottle from a rental bottle is by the stamped lettering on the collar. Now you can see there why we set that down. That bottle is set 6 inches down. It's about 3/4 of an inch off the ground. Still enough to roll over a cord, but it keeps the center of gravity that much lower. And then we have room also. So the goal here is to eventually set the spool gun up to run off one of these welders. I have the small spool gun down there, which requires pure argon. So I'm still running the mid-size bottles for argon. They're not quite the big 317 cubic foot bottles like these, but it'll still fit in there. So at some point there will be another bottle sitting on here. This is an old Lincoln SP170, older unit. I've had it for quite a few years, and I'm the second owner. And she's been really good. She's been quite the machine. But I am looking to add a second one, and that one will hopefully handle all the aluminum MIG. Thing is, with these Lincolns, they open on the opposite side as my Miller. But the way I designed this, that hopefully another one will sit right here and be able to open. If not, I'm going to pull this handle off the top of this thing. And I've standardized all my spools throughout the shop also. I run all the 10-pound spools. So it would be nice having all the same size tanks and all the same size spools. I run all 3/5 wire. That way I don't have to change out liners or rollers or anything like that. Everything, it's just nice and standard. For my shop, it's easy enough. You know, if this was like a big production shop where we were doing a lot of specialty stuff, then that might not be an option. For here, it works out just fine. So like I was saying, the way you can tell an owner bottle versus a leaser is by the stamping on the collar. At least local to me, that's the way that you tell. I'm not sure if it's the same by you guys, but you can see there. Now this is a bottle that I just got, and it slipped through the cracks. All my bottles are owned in the shop, but luckily I have a good relationship with the local weld shop, and they know me enough. They know that I own my bottles, so when I bring this one back in, it hopefully won't be a problem. But you see it says property of Bay Ox on there, like this right here, where it's a smooth collar. And like same right here, you can see that's a smooth collar. There's no owner's mark on there.